Hello again, everybody. Missouri Prepper 299 here. Today I want to take a look at another one of my SHTF firearms, the Mosin-Nagant M44. The M44 uses the 7.62 by 54 rim cartridge, one of the longest running cartridges in existence. It's loaded through stripper clips, 5 rounds, on an internal box magazine, and we'll take a look at some of that here and how it's actually used in just a moment. Loading the M44 is a simple matter using the stripper clips. Simply open the bolt. There's a little channel for the clip to fit into right here. Set your clip in place. Push down with your thumb. Extract the stripper clip. Then you go ahead and load. If for some reason you need to take the cartridges out of the magazine, there's a lever underneath here, right there. You simply push forward. Pull back. And that releases the floor plate, and your cartridges will fall out. Now there is a little bit of a trick to setting up the stripper clips for the M44. With these being rimmed cartridges, what you want to do when you set this up, and you can see just how large that rim is, put the first one in the charger and the stripper clip, hold it up is what you're going to want to do on the second one. Is you want to get it over the top of the rim of the last one. Otherwise they'll lock up and they won't feed. Same thing with the next one. Set it over the top of the last one. Next one here. And finally your fifth one. So when you get done, this will be the bottom section of your stripper clip where you're loading from. The flat side will be your top where you're pushing down with your finger. The M44 is a very stoutly built rifle. You can see, looking at it here, the stock is very heavy. The bolt itself, very robustly built, very strong. The spring itself, now this gun is empty like we saw. The spring itself is very heavy. I'm trying to pull this back to actually put it in safe, which is a bit of an operation. Pull it back, and then you'll twist it right over into this little latch. And that'll put it in safe so the gun will not fire. Take it off of safety, you have to pull it back, set her back on top, and your trigger will activate. To remove the bolt on the Mosin-Nagant, you'll pull all the way back, depress your trigger, pull the bolt out. Now we'll take a look at disassembling the bolt itself. The M44 bolt is pretty straightforward to disassemble. Initially, when you take it out of the rifle, it'll be in this configuration with the cocking handle and the bolt handle both being in line. In order to disassemble, you'll move the cocking handle over into the safe notch, just like this, and that'll release the bolt head and the rail. And now we've got to get the firing pin firing spring out. This is a little bit more of a challenge. That's why I've got the pine here, because you're going to need to grab a hold of the bolt handle and press this all the way down in order to unscrew the cocking handle. With that done, relieve the pressure on the spring, remove the firing pin and firing pin spring from the bolt body, and your bolt is now disassembled. Now let's go ahead and reassemble the bolt. Take the firing pin spring, put it on top of the firing pin, set the firing pin spring inside of the bolt body, compress the spring into the bolt body, pulling the bolt body all the way down. Take your cocking handle, set her back on there, screw it all the way back down until the top of the firing pin is flush with the back of the cocking handle. I'm going to have to go just a little bit more here. Right about there. Okay, now we want to go ahead and take the cocking handle, put it back over into the safe position. You can see these are kind of lined up. We need to check it for depth anyway. So we'll take the bolt body, we'll take the bolt head and the rail, We'll line this little slot right here up with the nub on the back. Set the bolt head in there, and then we'll check the firing pin height here. Now that you've got your bolt body reassembled, you want to take your cleaning kit. It comes with every one of the Mosin-Nagants. Take a look at a few of the items in there. You've got a multi-tool here. Reassemble the bolt, do some other work on the firearm. You've got a jag, cleaning out the barrel. Handle for your cleaning rod, which by the way is on the rifle. A muzzle protector cap. The cleaning rod slides down in, because these were supposed to be cleaned from the front of the rifle. And you have this little piece here, and God knows I don't have any idea what that's for. Never use it. So anyway, but the most important thing we want to look at here is the multi-tool, because we need to make sure that our firing pin is not protruding too far. So what we'll do is we'll take this, and you've got essentially a go no go gauge here. With this one, it should clear the bolt. The firing pin's not touching. And on the middle one, it should actually contact the firing pin, let you know that it's protruding far enough. So here you've got it showing that the firing pin is out far enough, and yet it's not too far out. And make your adjustments. Again, the object here is to get those lines on the firing pin and on the back of the cocking handle to line up. Go ahead and reassemble your pieces again. And then you can check them. Good to go. Good to go. Now we can go ahead and set her back up. Put it back in the firearm. Put it back just like we had it at the very beginning when we took it out of the rifle. Just like that. There's your bolt. To reinstall the bolt into the rifle, simply reverse. Put her right into the back, slide her forward, latch her down, and then go ahead and take the pressure off your firing pin spring. And you're ready to go. To field strip, all you really need to do on these is to just take your bolt out, like we talked about before. Disassemble your entire bolt, clean it back up, and especially if you're using corrosive military surplus, you want to use Windex with ammonia in it. Soak it in that just a little bit, scrub it all up, get rid of all the corrosive salts, and then go ahead and dry it off, rinse it off, dry it off, and then lubricate it with whatever oil you choose. From that point, all you really need to do is just go ahead and clean your internal box magazine. You can depress that and bring it out. Actually, by pulling down on the spring, it will release that clamp. Once you've got the internal box magazine cleaned, depress the spring again, set it back up into the firearm. It'll lock in place, and put her back in. Now your box magazine is cleaned. The M44 weighs about 8 3/4 pounds, so as opposed to its older brother, the 9130 Mosin-Nagant, this really doesn't weigh all that much less. Stock is a little heavier than the 9130, and with the added weight of the integral bayonet, that probably makes up for the difference. It is about 8 inches shorter in the barrel, so you do have a true carbine here. Some of the markings on this particular one, this is from Tula. It's got the Tula mark up above, serial number here. Also has serial number located down here. This one apparently was in another rifle at one time and then was rechanged at the arsenal to match this rifle. The bolt itself has the same serial number on it, just like on the rest of the firearm. And it's even on the butt plate. The sling uses these little dog collars, fit through metal plates on either side of the firearm. And we'll move up to the front. You can see it's got the dog collar there as well. Now the bayonet's kind of interesting. This is a cruciform style bayonet. If you'll notice, basically shaped like a star, like a cruciform, with the chisel point on the end. To deploy it, fits in a little notch right there. push it back, extend her all the way out, slip it over the barrel itself, and it locks in place. Pull it forward to release it, and it sits in a channel of its own right along the side of the sights. Nice and tight. One of my favorite things about the M44 Mosin-Nagant is that ammunition is very inexpensive. You can still get surplus. I think 440 round spam cam like this ran me about $90. The stripper clips back here on the back, I actually have PPU that I've been using, but these spam cans are a lot cheaper. 440 rounds for $90. That's an excellent price and a whole lot of fun to shoot. Now if we were to open up these tins, they'd be packed with these little boxes right here that are just full of 7.62 by 54 rimmed goodness. The boxes themselves have a little tab on the end here. You can open it up. It's all paper wrapped. And you can see right here we've got a nice military round. It's a silver tip, so it's a steel core. Got the lacquered primer and the lacquered bullet to case joint there. And I believe this particular batch, not the ones in the tin, but the ones out of the box, they came from another tin that I have. I believe those were built around 51, and they still shoot like they're brand new. Now I'm not going to say that I know what all the markings on this tin are, but up here you can see 7.62, that gives you your caliber. Down here you've got 44 or 440 count essentially, so you have 440 in this tin. And this silver section here tells you that you have silver tip bullets or steel cores. The rest of the markings on the tin to me are a total mystery because I don't speak Russian. One of the reasons that I did not pick the M44 Mosin-Nagant carbine as my top pick for the SHTF rifle is because it has a substantial amount of recoil. These cartridges will definitely kick you good. You'll know that you're shooting them. And they'll usually throw a fireball out the end of it that's about 18 inches to 2 foot long and usually about a foot to a foot and a half tall. It's a very, very powerful rifle. A lot of people don't like shooting them strictly because of the kick, but they're a very effective round, a very good rifle. There are a couple of variations of this rifle that you can look in. The M38, which is actually the original carbine version of the 9130 Mosin-Nagant, and the father to the M44, is a very good rifle. It does not have the bayonet on it. If you just do not want a bayonet, that may be one way to go. The M44 itself, and then there's also the Type 53 Chinese. Currently I haven't seen just a whole lot of the Type 53s are in very good shape. I'm seeing very, very few of the M44s that are out for sale that are in really good shape. This particular one I bought about a year and a half ago, and it's in excellent condition. Everything matches with the exception of the floor plate, which was re-arsenaled and then renumbered at the arsenal itself. The bolt action on these compared to the 9130s is very smooth. There is no sticky bolt issue whatsoever in these. They action very nicely. If you ever had a 9130, you kind of know what I'm talking about. The M44 Mosin-Nagant carbine is definitely one of my favorite rifles, and I definitely had a hard time figuring out if it was going to be this rifle or the SKS that I was going to choose as my top pick for an SHTF rifle. Again, like I had told one of the viewers, the reason I picked the SKS over the Mosin-Nagant was the amount of recoil. Everything else falls into line very well, but a lot of people don't like shooting a rifle that has this much recoil. Personally, I enjoy it, but that's just me. This is another rifle that I believe you should probably get. Get a couple if you can find them or can afford them, and put them into your arsenal. Always a good gun to have, inexpensive to shoot, and a lot of fun.